GHSA Executive Director Robin Hines, and then we're going to go to Calhoun head coach Clay Stevenson. So let's get things started with the GHSA's Robin Hines. How's it going?
It's going great. Hope you're doing well.
So wanted to get in just this first week, but we did get reached out to by Todd Holcomb with his incredible newsletter. He's going to run 4 questions with you. So, I mean, just first off, the season is starting on schedule. That is really good news compared to last year. We've seen, I think, 6 openers have been canceled. So just how comfortable overall are you heading into this year?
Well, we're comfortable. Having done this before, feeling like we're in a lot better spot now than we were last year. We know a lot more, and with all of that being said, we're going in. We're having a regular calendar. That's where we are right now. We're going to progress that way. All of our rules are going to be back in place of what they were, but just keep in mind that anything that we do is certainly, we're going to continue to meet with our medical folks and make decisions. And if the situation remains fluid, we certainly reserve the right to do what we need to do that's going to be in the best interest of our young people.
And so what is the current guidance that you guys are giving to the member schools just over COVID? Can you just go over that real quick?
Well, I just kind of did that. We're back to normal, and we're moving forward. The information that we have put on the website and talked about for a year is still in place. Those things, many of those things, washing hands, hand sanitizing, remaining socially distanced whenever possible. All those things are things that should become part of what we do, all the time. So that's kind of where we are, moving forward, and we're gonna certainly respect the local statutes, local rules, the local boards of education, and those sorts of things as we move forward.
Yeah, it looks like last year over 80% of the games did get played. You guys did not assess any forfeits or fines if teams did cancel games. Is that pretty much going to stay intact this year in terms of policies? And could you potentially get into a situation where you do have to start penalizing teams?
Well, we certainly we don't want to penalize anybody, but the forfeiture rule is back in place. That's where it is. But keep in mind that the regions are the ones that determine who the playoff participants are. And all of those regions should have had these conversations about what they're going to do in case, because as we just did a blanket no contest deal last year. But what does constitute a COVID game? Is it a shutdown of the program, or is it your starting quarterback is unable to participate? What determines that? So, what we want to do is we want the games to be played, and we do have a 12-week regular season to play 10. So there are spots to where you can go and make up those games, and that's what we're encouraging our schools to do. There's some games, for instance, in the first week that we're waiting on confirmation that there's maybe a couple of teams that got postponed or canceled that they're going to get together and play that game. So we're looking at all those ways. The last thing that we want to do is to penalize anybody financially. Typically there's a restitution rule in place, and there's a fine from the GHSA. That holds true, but it's certainly easy to waive that as we go forward.
Yeah, and it seems like that was the right kind of approach for you guys to take, where you did leave it up to individual regions. You left it up to the districts to have their own guidances. I know we've seen that in our government really right now, where the governor might issue an order where he says no mask mandates, and then you kind of have these rogue cities or rogue districts that say, no, we're going to do it anyway. So do you have anything prepared in place if, I guess, one of these districts does decide to go rogue and just cancel a bunch of things or push things back?
Well, we'll just deal with it as it comes. We're not pushing things back. I mean, we're staying with our schedule. Our start and end dates are what they are, and certainly the end dates, because, of course, we did show last year that we could be flexible there too. So, it's certainly a fluid situation. It could be, but we don't expect it to be that way. It's typically, Craig, as you know, that the regular season has typically belonged to those regions and to those schools. That's what they do. And then when it comes playoff time, that's when the Georgia High School Association steps in and runs those tournaments.
And then let's talk about last year, 2019. That was a really big disappointment when spring sports got canceled. Looks like every sport got to play this last year, and then you also got to introduce some new sports. I thought, just talking to some of the people involved with the bass fishing this year, that was a really exciting thing to bring to the state. So just talk about that, and just how that has helped just boost kind of participation and give you guys another great event.
Yeah, well, it's been on our radar for several years, and as you may know, we do a survey each spring where we have those sports that people may have asked that we include under the sanctioning for the GHSA as we go, and we do we assess the interest level of it. Well, I'll tell you, girls flag football and bass fishing were off the charts with the people that wanted to see that in there, and we were in a position to plug those sports in as well, and both have been extremely successful. We had in our tournaments throughout the year, there's 4 qualifying tournaments leading up to a state championship in bass fishing, and we were averaging about 180 boats. So it was a tremendous experience. It's another way for people to be involved, along with those things that we've put in the last few years that have really increased our participation level.
And just talk about the state of Georgia. I know it's really close to you. You've been here a while. You look around, though, just all the different sports. If you were just to look at the recipients of the Gatorade Players of the Year for each sport, I mean, the amount of future professional stars, college standouts that are coming through throughout the state, it's pretty incredible. So where would you just say Georgia high school athletics is overall right now?
I think we're number one. There's no question in my mind. We are a relatively large state, but there are those that are larger: California, Florida, New York, Texas, for instance. But as far as per capita of what the Georgia High School Association member schools put into the colleges, we're number one. There's no question about that. And I'll tell you, I just think it's because, there's so much passion in the Southeast, obviously, for athletics and those sorts of things. And we have the best coaches anywhere. The thing about it is, if you come to our state championship, we're really all year long, but you go to that state championships and you watch those 8 games being played. Well, actually, there's going to be 11 games this year with our girls flag football. I can promise you that the level of coaching that you're going to see is no different than you see on Saturdays and Sundays. I mean, these guys and gals, they just do a great job, and so I think that's why we're doing so well, and we're putting so many people in the college ranks, not just in football, but we're a basketball state, as well. We have a lot of talent that are coming out of there. Baseball as well, and I do want to mention baseball. This year, but people are passionate about it, and they're ready to get back. Craig, I don't know if you were involved in the baseball championships at all, but the amount of tickets sold was pretty close to what we did in football. Of course, football was a little bit depressed because of the COVID and the uncertainty, but everybody started feeling better about it and getting outside, and baseball was just incredible. Those tournaments were outstanding.